Hello.
Hello.
How are you? Someone's back from the south.
Outside. I'm a changed person. I'm doing amazing though.
I want to
Amazing.
hear all about your trip. I want to
Mhm.
hear all about the boys. I want to hear all
Oh.
about the girls.
The girls and the boys and the gays and the theys.
The gays, the theys,
Mm-hmm.
and all of the above. And I just want to know how we're feeling today,
Mm-hmm.
other than hot as shit.
Hot as fuck, yeah.
We have to turn off the AC because it's so hot and we're sweating balls in here.
Mm-hmm. It's good for your soul though. It's like poor people sauna.
True, very, very true.
I feel amazing. I feel so proud of myself and confident. That's how I feel today.
Oh my god, that's really
Yeah.
great. I'm feeling a little bit of that.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you to all the listeners.
Oh, yes.
In the last episode.
Mhm.
Thanks for your support. Thanks for following my Instagram.
Seriously, I mean, the amount of people that message us and tell us like specific details of our podcast, like to know that you're actually listening is crazy. And I'm so fucking grateful because I'm just never gonna take that for granted. The fact that people care about what we have to say, you know.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Please enjoy the 4th episode of Bitches with Intellect.
I can't believe it's already the 4th. It feels like this is going by so fast.
It is.
But I'm ready. I'm ready for the 50th. I'm ready for the 100th. Like, let's go.
Let's go. Okay, now we can start.
Yay, and then the intro.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Doesn't Dax do that in his podcast? He like sings the intro. He's like, that's us right now. We're like, listen, I forgot how it goes, okay?
Oh
yeah, you edit the podcast, you know. The bass. So good.
So, going in order of importance, I
Yes.
need to know. Tell us about Louisiana. Just tell us, what do you want to share with us? Tell us.
My daddy, Alabama. Mama, Louisiana. Anyway. Okay, so let's start off with the fact that I was singing that under my breath the whole time. Because it's the only song I know that has Louisiana in it. And it's obviously Formation by Beyonce.
Yeah, American Treasure.
American Treasure. And locals, so hospitable, I'd say. Hospitable. But some of them are also very closed off. Like, it felt like two extremes. People were either very closed off or very open. People would come up to me and, like, talk to me about my outfit and stuff. Or I would compliment someone on their outfit and they'd, like, be so hesitant to have any type of small talk, basically. And I realized that was like,
probably the tourists.
Maybe. Who knows where they were from then? You're right. You're so right. Because, yeah, you're right. They must, because the people who live there in New Orleans must be used to so many tourists that they like, you know, they're like, oh, where are you from? Like, that was a very common thing. Like, they know a lot of people aren't from there. So they're good at small talk, I guess. But I guess the people I complimented just happen not to be from there. Yeah, so I guess you're right, because I thought it was like a southern thing, I guess, where I thought maybe West Coast people are a lot better at small talk and all that, but I guess you never know. I didn't ask them where they were from, so...
Well, it's like a well-known fact, like Southern hospitality, people of the South, they're all really welcoming and they all talk to each other and say hi. Many times, no, I wouldn't say many times, but there are times where it's, you know, to get the tea, and not necessarily because they want to be nice to you or care about you, but for the most part, yes, they care.
And I accept that. As a Gemini, I love gossip. I live for it. I don't really necessarily spread gossip, but I just like to listen to it.
Yeah.
So I can totally relate.
I don't have any tea, but girl, spill.
Yeah. I don't
Let me get my popcorn.
Yeah.
But
I want to know everything.
They say the West Coast and East Coast both are not very sociable. And it's probably because of the amount of
West
people.
Coast and East Coast?
Well, definitely New York, right? Like, no one talks to each other.
I feel like people do. Have you not, like, there's so many clips of people dancing on the street together, like people cheering each other on, people like being like, yes, like to their outfits, stuff like that. Or at least maybe that's just the side of TikTok I'm on.
Right.
You know?
Well, who's to know really if it's just a stereotype or if it's true? Right?
I personally believe it's a complete stereotype. I think New York people are some of the most open people ever. Because you go there for that. It's the culture, it's the community, it's the
I love New York City.
vibe of
I love
it.
the people there. It's just like do you talk to your neighbor? Like, are you guys all friends? Because in the South, your neighbor's your friend. At least that's the stereotype that I've heard, you know?
Okay.
But I can see it in LA. Like, no one talks to you in LA. People don't have time to talk to you.
People have a wall in LA.
They do.
It's a lot of shallowness here, and I think that's what drives people to build up a wall. Because, like, if you're just deriving by your friendships through shallowness, it's like, then you're always going to be nervous and afraid because we're not perfect on the outside.
Right.
Or, no, we're never perfect. We're never perfect at all.
Not to mention that California in general, but LA specifically, the imbalance of income is ridiculous. Like, you could be a millionaire producer in line at 7-Eleven trying to get cigarettes, and behind you is like a person experiencing homelessness with no shoes. Like, and that's just how it is, you know.
Yeah.
But people don't talk to each other, don't acknowledge each other.
Right.
You just move on and
focus on your own shit.
Yeah.
There's no real community. It's just like people doing their own thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. But the South was incredible. I think it's like specifically New Orleans, just like the history that you feel when you're there. Like, some of the oldest buildings are found there. Things are kept the same for the most part. You know, obviously it's like modernized, but you know, things don't change, like jazz clubs, whatever. You know, the French Quarter, all the like courtyards that were outside the apartments, like things like that are still there. So it was so cool for me to feel like I was walking into like a time capsule. Yeah, and like that's my shit. Like, put me in a new place I've never been to before. That's a Gemini's dream, because we love to learn, we love to experience newness, and you know, once we get things, like, we move on so quickly. So like, you know, I grew up in California. Obviously I'm over it. Everyone who's in California is over it. So it's like, I just needed something new, a new place. Like, and I truly fell in love. Like, I want to go back so bad. Like, since I've been back, I've just been telling you, like, I'm taking you. Like, we're going to Bourbon Street, we're going to the bars, we're going to jazz clubs, we're dancing. Like, there were so many singers in the bars, and like, they blew my mind. Like, it was just incredible. Like, the South Side just really knows how to do it. It was so fun. They know how to have fun. I mean, what other city has a dead-ass a holiday where everything closes so that you can go out and party? Like Mardi Gras. Like, you know, things close down. Like, it's an official holiday for them.
No one's open. Like, everyone's partying.
Yeah.
Every person, regardless of
age,
income status, race.
You're on the street. It's so packed. You're on the street. And all the locals, and then also other people. So it's just like so much intersectionality. Yeah, it's beautiful. I felt that even when I was there. It was just like, whoa, this is a mix of a lot of things, and everyone is just on the same page here about like being friendly, and like I felt this like deep love for the city, regardless of what we said, like age, race, income. Like, it's great. When you're walking down the streets, like there's music playing and stuff, and everyone's vibing. It's just great. Like, you know, the amount of like opportunity to connect is unmatched. I've never experienced anything like it. It was great.
And you said you didn't have to take the bus or anything or get a lift. Like, you could just walk wherever you needed to go.
No, yeah. Like, where we stayed, the French Quarter and Jackson Square, like the most famous areas, obviously they're very touristy, so there's a lot of hotels surrounding it. So we literally just got one of those hotels and then just walked max 15 minutes to get to it. And it was a great walk.
Oh,
yeah, it was like, I love walking. I love a city where I feel safe enough to walk in, you know? And it was very hot and humid. The first thing Natalie's the friend that I went with, the first thing we said when we stepped off the plane and we felt the weather was, ew. Just, we couldn't. Like, it was just, especially because on the plane, the air's so dry that the like impact of all this humidity hitting you and like your lungs not being able to breathe the first 5 seconds, you're like, what the fuck? But obviously we got used to it, and it just like added a little charm to the city, I guess.
It's a constant reminder that you're not in Kansas anymore.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure I said that. I said, we're not in LA anymore. Yeah. No ma'am.
That reminds me of when I went to New York. Similar thing, like humid. I went in June as well. That's crazy.
How old were you again?
I was 19.
Okay.
I think it was like 2013 when I went, and it was just me and my friend. Similar to you.
Yeah.
But we stayed like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was so jealous.
Up being a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Like after the second week, I was like homesick. You know?
I feel you.
Even though I really loved it, and it like not even culture shock, but just like the environmental shock. Like everything is different. The air, the atmosphere, the people. It's intoxicating. It's exciting to be out of the norm.
Yeah.
Because like I've always lived in California. And it was nice to come back and like enjoy the weather again, you know?
Yeah, enjoy what's here.
Yeah.
Like I remember I stayed maybe like 4 days in New York once, and I just remember missing my car. I remember missing driving. Like I love traveling on the subway, but it's just the little things. Yeah. You know? There's nothing like driving down the Pacific Coast Highway and just listening to music and the weather being beautiful, even when it's hot. But over there, it's like, I feel like it's such a city that like it's so hot and there's no real breeze, and you can't drive around. But you do it for the culture. You do it for the vibes.
Yeah, that's where the streetcar named Desire was.
Oh yeah,
set
in New Orleans. Yeah, there's a streetcar that passes by the main street there. I forgot what it's called, and the book is based off that streetcar.
So amazing.
I know. I tried to take a video, but I was too busy with other things. Speaking of connection, I met... Okay.
Heather just needed to... Okay, go off, queen.
Go off. Okay.
Are you done? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Heather. So well spoken. So I met these two. Oh my god. She doesn't want me to talk about it. She doesn't want me to talk about it.
She feels it in her belly. She's like, no.
She said, Valerie, no. Valerie, no.
Too bad she's not the boss of us.
I know. Who knows? But basically, speaking of connection, I met these two lovely boys in the club. In the club, we all fam.
Ooh,
that's from Broad City.
In the club, we all.
But yeah, we were just okay. So there was this one specific bar where there was live singing by these two wonderful women, and Natalie and I kept going back there, and so we went to that place 3 nights in a row. By the second night is when we met them. They were from Arkansas. So they weren't that far. I guess they're on the border of Louisiana, which is like, wow, that's not far at all. So one of them was gay. One of them was an ally.
We love a gay.
We love an ally.
And we love an ally.
Yeah, and the gay phrased it that way. Because I was like, oh, I just assumed his friend was gay, which is not the best assumption. Are we going to say their
name?
No.
Okay, we should probably come up with something other than the gay.
Right. I was gonna go along with just the gay and the ally. I'm just kidding.
That sounds like a cute little fairy tale of the gay and the ally.
I'm gonna write a children's book. So, let me think. Oh my gosh, this is hard.
Harry
and Chris. We'll make him the ally. Harry's the ally. Chris is the gay. So basically, this is the love story, right? So we're dancing, we're vibing, ooh, ah, kakarikao. Then I look over, and which one did I say was the gay?
Chris.
So I look over, and Chris and I make eye contact, and we just like instantly are like dancing, like, you know, like vibing, like our energies are just like matching. And then we go up to each other, and he's like, oh my gosh, like I love your outfit, and I'm like, I love yours. And then I'm like, the whole trip, I was just asking people their sign. Like, even the waiter, I was like, what's your sign? But,
what's your name? What's your sign?
I have no other line, but what's your name? What's your sign? And he's like, I'm a Sagittarius. And I start jumping and screaming because Sagittarius people are my shit. Like, people are afraid of them because they can be intimidating, but I think people are intimidated by Geminis as well. We have this respect for each other, or at least, I don't care if they respect me, but I respect them. Mm-hmm. And they are so just open and fun and vibrant and, like, loud, and they're just, like, for me, the most fun fire sign. And, you know, fire and air signs are just a match made in heaven, because obviously you need air to start a fire, and so, like,
to fan the flame,
and you're just, like, create this huge, like, energy between each other. So I was so happy he was a Sag. And then I asked his friend, I was like, what's your sign? And he's like, I'm a Virgo. And I'm like,
I'm just kidding. I love a Virgo.
I love Virgo slander. I'm just kidding. No, I don't have any least favorite sign or anything. I like all signs. It's just that, and Virgo and Scorpio are the two signs that people, I think, are most nervous about, or, like,
I thought it was Gemini,
weary.
Scorpio.
Well, yeah, Gemini, Scorpio, and Virgo would be what I would think. But I love all signs, really. But the only reason why I personally feel a little bit like, ooh, you're a Virgo, is because they have a controlling nature. And I'm the complete opposite. Like, if you tell a Gemini what to do, I will laugh in your face. Like, there's just no way. But, you know, I don't care. Like, I'm never gonna have this preconceived notion of someone because of their sign. It's just, oh, you're a Virgo, okay. And, like, just me being aware of, like, they're a little controlling. But we were dancing all night. It was great. And then we just vibed so well that we asked them, like, oh, what are you doing the next day? And they're like, oh, we're doing nothing. And so then we were just, like, we exchanged Snapchats like I'm in fucking high school again. And we were like, okay, we'll just, like, meet up or talk or whatever, possibly. And then, actually, Natalie and I were supposed to leave the next day that we were planning to hang out with them, but we were leaving at 5. So we were like, okay, we have some time, but not that much time. And then we ended up just changing our flight because we just wanted to stay. Basically, someone told us that this day that we were going to leave was going to be a Thursday. Someone told us that Thursday is New Orleans Friday. Like, the weekend starts on Thursday. And then they also said that that's when they were celebrating Pride Month. And so I was like, Natalie, if we don't stay, that's homophobic. Like, straight up. Like, we have to stay now. Like, I'm gay. Do you support me? I'm just kidding.
Are you an ally?
Are you an ally? And obviously, she was like, of course. If anything, honestly, Natalie was pushing me more to stay. Like, by that, I mean, she cleared up the logistics of it. Like, she was kind of helping us figure it out more. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like, we could do it. Like, we actually could. And so then we did change our flight. We hit them up the next day. We meet up at 1 p.m. So, like, great time to hang out, you know. Like, they were down to clown. Like, they were down to hang. Because there were so many other people we met at the bars before that, like, we had exchanged numbers, but, like, nothing fell through. But they were so down, and I loved it. We went to, like, these voodoo shops and just walked around and had, like, a lovely time, like, cracking jokes left and right. Like, it was so fun. And it was just, like, incredible to connect with people the way I did with them. Like, we literally, when we went day drinking, this woman came up to us and was like, are you guys lifelong best friends or are you relatives?
Aww.
And we're like, we met yesterday. like that's how close we were, though. Like, we really opened up right away. Like, we became really, really close really fast. At least for me. I don't open up that quickly. I don't think they do either, honestly. So it was just great to find genuine connection that quickly. And yeah, I
saw you singing and dancing to Valery by Amy
yes.
Winehouse.
Oh yeah, so there's
this
this other.
By Amy Winehouse?
It is. Well, I think it's by a band that Amy Winehouse covered. But Amy Winehouse made it famous. Yeah, this group that I met the first night I went out, they requested the song for me. They requested it for me because it was my birthday. They were like, happy birthday or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys. Like, I deadass was so surprised. It was just the sweetest thing ever. And I was vibing. And the singer knew that my name was Valery. Like, I'm pretty sure they told her. And they said that it was my birthday. And so her and I were just, like, singing to each other. And it was, like, the best moment ever.
How cute.
It was the best. That was my favorite part of, like, when we went out partying, was during that song. Just, I felt so connected to everyone and so loved, and it was great. It was so fun. So, love New Orleans. And, I just wanted to mention really quickly that there's a chance that Chris is going to come to LA. And I was like, bitch, we're going out. Like, if you're coming, we're going out.
West Hollywood?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to LA. We're going to West Hollywood. We're going to the bars. He better bring a fake because they were bold. They both didn't have IDs and they were both underage and they both just like finessed their way the first 2 nights. Not the last night. They didn't finesse their way. But either way, I'm like, I had to let them know, like, if you're going to come to LA, like, you have to bring a fake because they don't tolerate that shit. Like, how they do in the South. Like, no. They check every time.
Okay, well, it sounds like you had such a great trip and I'm so happy for you.
Yes,
And
thank you.
a little jelly. So I want to go on a trip, but really excited for you.
Thank you.
And
we're
you
going to
brought
go
us
either way.
really good gifts.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah. So you brought us, well, you brought Hedy,
Mm-hmm.
a little collar with rainbow hearts on it.
Yeah, Pride Month, baby.
I love it. Happy Pride.
Mm-hmm.
And a chew toy in the shape of a crawfish.
Yeah, I brought her back crawfish.
That's so cute. Like, she's obsessed with it.
She is. She's a Southern girl.
And then you got me a
Mhm.
painting
By a local
of the
artist.
bayou.
Of a local artist. It was so beautiful. Like,
I love art, and
mm-hmm.
you just know me so well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna put it up on my bathroom. 'Cause
I'm so happy.
I was needing some decoration there.
Yeah.
So exciting.
And a shot glass.
And a shot glass. I
Yeah.
totally forgot about it.
Mhm. You need a shot glass from New
I need
Orleans.
a shot.
You need a shot, yeah. Okay, should we pick out a topic?
Sure. I mean, do you want to say that we're
You
doing
do it. Yeah, okay.
So actually,
Mhm.
we made this little pile of topics, if you will. We wrote a topic on a little piece of paper, and we're gonna choose one
Mhm.
to talk about.
Yeah.
And you know, we're planning on doing this just whenever, you know, we don't have that much to talk about that week. We can just discuss a topic. So
Yeah.
Do you
So
wanna
just to
pick
give
it?
us to reignite our creativity and
yeah,
our conversation,
our flow.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to choose it?
You choose it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, let's see what this says. It says, "What makes you the most angry?"
Oh, okay. We're going there.
We're going
Ooh.
there.
I have one.
Okay.
I hate when people say things that they don't mean.
Ugh, yes, people whose word means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that.
I hate that. Like, let's just say, like, I'm planning to hook up with you, and, you don't pay for my food, and I say, are you gonna pay for my food? And instead of answering honestly, you say, I can pay for your food, and then you don't end up paying for my food. But this is what I'm getting to. For me, I can pay for my food, no problem. It's not that. That's not the problem. That's not what makes me angry. It's not even the fact that he didn't pay for my food that makes me angry. What makes me angry is that don't say you're going to if you are not. Because then that tells me your words mean nothing.
Yeah.
They mean nothing to me after that point. And I think that's just because I mean what I say when I say it.
Mm-hmm.
And words are very important to me. I don't know why they're not important to other people sometimes, but whatever.
This sounds very specific. But yeah, I hear you. I think exactly, like, it's not always what they said they would do. Because I feel like me and you, I don't know if it's our signs, I don't know if it's our childhood trauma,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like we have a really hard time asking for help, accepting help,
Definitely.
being vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much it. But so when someone says, like, or when you ask someone for help and they say yes and then they don't do it, it just really just like, it's like a knife to the heart. Like, you know, for me, I feel a little bit embarrassed that I even asked, because in the end they didn't even end up helping me, you know.
Mm-hmm. For me, well, I want to get into why you feel embarrassed, but for me, I don't feel embarrassed. I feel like, well, that sucks for you, because at the end of the day, you're gonna keeping you, and I'm keeping me, and I'm someone who does stick to their word. So I don't get embarrassed. I get embarrassed for them. I'm like, ooh, you just fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't look at you the same.
I feel a little bit embarrassed, like exposed, I guess. But for the most part, it's like, it's a pet peeve. I just hate it. I just hate it. And
Okay,
like,
I'm
in my
glad we're on the
past
same page.
relationships, dude, I hate that shit. Like,
Oh my gosh, I agree.
the lack of communication.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Yeah, in a relationship, yeah. I'm never subjecting myself to that again. People who say shit that they don't mean, like, or I'll do this for you, and then they don't do it.
And it could be small things, and it's not really the small things.
It's not about the thing.
I mean, Yeah.
It's not about the thing itself. It's like, don't tell me you're gonna do something for me just for me to shut up and forget about it.
Dude, the amount of times I said that in an argument.
Ooh.
Like, I feel like this is what I would say. I feel like you just tell me what I want to hear, so I just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you don't do anything that you said you were gonna do. And then, you know, in my past relationships, I've always gotten that response of, like, basically, okay, I'll do whatever you want me to do. And it's like, it's not, like, why does it always have to end up that I'm telling you what to do? You know, when it's supposed to be a partnership, when it's supposed to be equal parts supportive. And if I ask you for help, if I ask anyone for help, we're being adults, and you can tell me yes, and you can tell me no. No one's forcing you, no one's putting a gun to your head. And if someone's asking me for something, I know that I have the choice to say no. Yep. And if I say yes, it's because I'm gonna do what I said I'm gonna do.
Period.
So it really pisses me off.
Me too. If you don't want to do it, that's your prerogative to say no. I don't know what prerogative means, but it sounds right.
It's your responsibility.
Okay, period. Okay, I'm glad I somehow knew. But anyway. Yeah, I am not here to fucking guess if you mean what you say. I'm never gonna do that. I'm not here to guess. You either tell me you are or you aren't. You either mean what you say or you don't. Get out of here.
And I'm tired of settling for people like that. Like, at the first time that someone does that to me, and of course it's like, we're not talking about coworkers or acquaintances. I'm talking about, like, if I truly feel like I want you to be my friend, and then I realize, oh, you're someone who doesn't keep their word. You're not someone that I want to be friends with anymore. Yeah. We're, like, courting each other. Such an old term. Like, if we're dating or whatever. Courting. And then I realize that, that you don't keep your word. That's also enough reason for me to just stop. Yeah. Just stop. I've got to an age where, like, I've dated people, different types of people, and I've learned what I like, what I don't like, and what I'm willing to overlook and work with, and things that I'm not willing to overlook. And that's one of them.
Deadass.
Because, and you can find that out pretty easily, you know?
Yeah, like, if I feel like you deserve a place in my life, like you've done well so far, and I feel like, wow, this person might deserve a place in my life, you can lose that just as easily. Right. And I'm not sorry about it. No. And I'm tired of women being told that they're dramatic, or taking things too extreme, or being exaggerated, or that they need to chill over things like this, when it's like, calm down, Valerie. It's just a $6 meal.
It's like, it's just a $6 meal, asshole. Then why didn't you fucking pay for it?
And you know why I think I'm entitled to them paying? I can pay for my own shit. But the reason I'm like, well, are you gonna pay for my shit? Because I want you to. I don't need you to. But I'm expecting you to. And the reason is because women are valued over their looks, and men are valued over how much money they make. If I'm delivering my part, the least you can do is pay for my food. That's the very least you can do.
I think too, it's a small way of kind of measuring, like, are they a generous person or are they not? Because you know, I'm a firm believer that generosity is extremely tied to sex. If you in your life walk around in a world of lack, and all you do is take from other people,
and hold on to things so tightly of whatever's yours, like your money, like you hold on just way too tightly,
or you're only focused on your own pleasure, on your own success, on your own happiness and joy, I'm sorry, but I don't want to have sex with you. Because I can only imagine that to you it doesn't really matter if I'm enjoying myself. To you it doesn't really matter if I'm gonna come, like, straight up. And if that's not a priority of yours, then you cannot have sex with me. Yep. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Go off, queen. Go off. And let me tell you, the dick wasn't that big. I just need to say that. I just need that on record. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Well, isn't it funny though? Like, what exactly am I getting out of this interaction? Is it sex? Well, it wasn't that good. Am I getting dinner after? Well, you didn't even do that.
Yep. Period.
Like,
period. And
okay.
And that's why this is a huge lesson for me as to whether I even want to fucking go through with it anymore. Because truly, I felt like he hadn't fucked up at all until that moment that night where he didn't pay for my food. So I was just gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. You haven't fucked up, you know? Like, I was like, okay, whatever, I'll go through with it. Like, it's for me, it's not about you. But looking back, I don't think I would have gone through with it anymore. And that's what I needed to learn. Was, actually, that doesn't really align with my values anymore. If someone isn't willing to pay for my food, I'm not okay with that anymore.
So this was like a one-night stand type of thing?
Yes.
Okay. So no more one-night stands for you?
I'm not gonna say no more. I'm just saying I think about them a lot differently. I had to go experience that one in order to learn what I need from that person and in order to go through with it and to feel comfortable before, during, and after it. And there's some boxes that need to be checked. Yeah. One of them is at least pay for my food.
Or don't say you're going to. If you don't plan to.
Yep. The thing is, I didn't know he wasn't going to pay for it until he fucking left. Didn't say shit. But you know what? I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth shut because I am never gonna beg for anyone to pay for anything for me. You just showed your true colors, though. So, that's fine. Go ahead.
Is this the same guy that you said that you bought him a drink?
Oh, yes.
So it's not like a one-way, like, oh, I just expect you to pay for my drinks and
no,
my food.
I had been generous
that night. And pay for the lift and pay for the, you know, it's like you were doing your part and that was just something that he said he would do and he didn't do it.
Yeah, like, I don't expect anything in return. Basically, it's not tit for tat, but I expect you to have that same level of generosity for me. Just like as a friend, not as a romantic partner, just as a friend. Because that's how I treat my friends and we treat each other. We do it equally. We're as equal as we can be with those things. So it's like, it's not about romantic relationship or like tit for tat. It's like, no, as my friend, I would assume that you would have... Your friend who you're having sex with, apparently. That's the least you can do. Like when there's a little bit of romantic tie in it, like, yeah, pay for my food. Like that's the least you can do to show that you're generous as a friend. And going considering back to being... Point, yeah.
Someone who keeps their word.
Yeah.
Someone says, okay, yeah, I'll pay for your food later, whatever. And then he doesn't. And, like, is it possible he forgot? It's possible. But come on, people. Like,
no, he didn't forget. In my opinion, he did not forget.
Okay,
he did not
forget.
Think
he didn't forget?
I just know. I can't say why because it would give away who this person is.
Okay.
But I know they would never forget this.
You want to know why I think that is a huge trigger for us?
Why?
Because if someone is routinely making promises they don't keep, then there's this constant ambiguity with where they stand and what you can expect from them.
Right.
And for someone who grew up in a home where nothing was consistent, everything was always all over the place, unpredictable, it's super triggering for us to feel like we don't know what to expect from people. Yes. You know? And I think that's something that I'm so glad I've understood about myself, because it's something that in the future, with friends too, but like any future partners, it could be something I can like talk to them about, because I know that I've been very abusive in the past, very controlling, because I'm triggered. Because I'm triggered by that, you know. But also it's on me too to like get to know people and to truly believe them when they show their true colors. Like, you know, that's why dating is so important. Yeah. Before you become exclusive. For me, exclusivity is like too close to codependency at this point. So I need to like figure myself out before I ever become exclusive again, because I feel like I'll just go back to that codependent dynamic. Because
your attachment style in your head when you're in a relationship is just codependent.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't want that anymore. I don't want to put anybody through that anymore.
Right. And you saw where it got you and it wasn't fun.
No.
And it's not. I feel you, because that's the same with me. Like, and I'm glad I learned it at an early age. And you too. Yeah. You learned it at an early age. People don't learn this till they're 50 sometimes. But I'm just glad that early on, I forgot what.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Patty looks so cute. I had to take a picture of her.
But yeah, early on learn our triggers in a relationship and our tendencies to be codependent and where that gets you and how we never want to do that again. And I feel like I've definitely gotten myself out of that, because I've experienced a couple of connections and I feel like I've proven to myself time and time again how much I've grown. And that's what makes me so incredibly proud of myself, is knowing I'm not codependent anymore and I really don't need anyone. It's great. And by don't need anyone, I mean I want you there, but I don't feel like I need you there. I just want you there.
Isn't that like even more of a loving feeling?
1,000%.
To be with someone because they want you to be there, not because they need you there. Because
exactly. If you need someone, you'll never know if they're doing it because they love you or if it's out of sheer loneliness.
Damn.
And that's really, really sad and just completely disturbing for me to think about for myself, if that's what I'm doing it for. Just is so not it. It's so not it. It's terrible when your bubble's gonna burst eventually, because you're gonna have no self-esteem, no real confidence, so that relationship is just gonna go south.
Right. Back to the south. Oh. Shout out to the south.
What makes you angry?
Honestly, that is the number one thing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, we're on the same page. We have the same triggers. We can came from the same house.
Yeah. And we have like the same birth chart. So I feel like a lot of things. Well,
and by that I mean our sun is both an air sign, our moon is both a water sign, and then our rising is both in Capricorn. Yep. I'm a Gemini sun.
I'm a Libra.
Libra. I'm a Pisces moon.
I'm a Cancer moon.
And then Cap rising.
Hey.
Kylie Jenner's a Cap rising.
Really? Interesting.
I love that. I'm gonna make a lot of money. I really am. What else makes you angry? Heather
annoys me. It doesn't make me angry.
Okay. No. Heather's staring at you.
I can tell you something. People who really only see one side or the other and there's no in between, and maybe it's the Libra in me that has to see both sides, but it just annoys me. It's like we live in a world where things are gray most of the time.
All of the time things are complex and gray.
There's so many levels to everything. The truth is always somewhere in the middle. And so it's really hard for me to connect with people like that, because I feel like we can't even have a conversation, you know?
No, yeah, I can't give my energy to people who are just like spew out like just like this bullshit of
usually regurgitating just whatever they heard on the news or whatever. And
like sheep ways of thinking. Like you're just a sheep who just listens to other people's opinions and then you're like, that sounds about right. Whereas if you have like this idea of complexity, that there's complexity to everything, then it makes it better for you to discern with taking a lot of things into account, and then you come up with your own opinion.
Right.
Like I want to hear what other people take into account, because it's not just black and white. I want to know what layers you think adds to things, to this and that, and you know,
right. And like we don't live in a vacuum. Like everyone has a past, everyone is anchored in different places, whether it's a healthy environment or a non-healthy environment. And so it's just like all the judgments that are made just based on like superficial facts or just like, I'm getting too vague, I think, but what I mean is, if you can play the devil's advocate, you know, I mean, I'm not saying don't have strong beliefs, like have strong beliefs, but I think it's important to play the devil's advocate and to see the other person's side.
Always. I agree.
Because then you're just gonna miss a lot of the issues that could have been resolved upstream rather than downstream when it's too late, you know?
Yeah.
And so
like you're just gonna like, it's better to bring up what other possibilities instead of like it coming out later and just yeah.
What comes to mind is like, I could never argue with, because I love to debate, you know, and I don't care if people disagree with me, like let's debate, you know?
Yeah, me too.
But I don't want to debate with someone who is so set in what they believe in that they're not even willing to listen to what I'm saying. You know?
Yeah, like you don't have to agree with me at all. You can be stubborn in your opinion, but at least like listen.
Yeah,
genuinely
listen.
Yeah.
And one of the topics that triggers me, I'm just gonna stop using that word for.
Why?
Well, because it doesn't trigger me.
Like, it's not okay. Because I was like, if it triggers you, it triggers you. But if it does, okay, so
I would say like what makes me mad is seeing, because like I don't think I'm either a Democrat or Republican. I feel like I'm more in the middle. That's a really good example.
Okay.
Like, I can't stand people who are just one thing, you know? And I get it. People can identify as either one. But if you don't question anything, just because it comes from that liberal side or from that conservative side, then I just am I'm just questioning if you even have like that critical thinking in your head where you're actually seeing all sides before making a decision. And I can't do it. It like really pisses me off. If I had to put like a actual specific issue, fucking prisons, man. They make no sense. They don't work. It's bullshit.
Racist.
It's just like completely racist. You're dealing with a downstream issue without dealing with the mental health issues.
Yes.
The economic inequality, their lack of resources.
Lack of resources is a huge one I always think about. Like these people who are in prison, they just had a lack of resource growing up.
Like, oh, they were selling fucking cocaine or whatever. Like, what was the infrastructure put in place to make sure that this person had a good education? Had stable adults in his life that motivated him and him or her, built up their self-esteem and led them or were mentoring towards them and showed them how to follow their dreams and do something that isn't illegal, you know?
Yeah.
Because the government loves to label things as illegal.
Yeah.
But it's like, where's the morality in all of this, you know?
Yeah, there was a lot of things that had to go wrong in that person's life. So it's not just them. A lot of people who had to like let that person down as a child in order for them to go down that route.
Exactly.
You know, it's not just them.
Yeah.
You know?
people are like, well, they're adults now. Like, yeah, they're adults now. But
we're all her children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they weren't always adults.
Yep.
They were, at one point, at the mercy of the adults in their life who were supposed to keep them safe and who were supposed to show them and give them the tools to be strong, healthy adults.
Yes.
And if you don't get that as a kid, you stay a kid.
Yep. So true.
And that's just that.
Period, mama. And when you were talking about how you have to look at both sides of things about Democrat and Republican, I think a lot of people would be really like defensive about being like, why would you look at the other side of things from a conservative or a Republican? And all I want to say to that is that it's no accident that we are so pinned against each other that we can't even form a conversation. That's not an accident. That's on purpose to keep us distracted while they keep doing all this dumb shit where they act like they care about us but they don't, and then it's just no accident that they pinned us against each other as citizens. Yeah. And I have a lot of compassion for anyone who is defensive because I was that way too. I couldn't look at how like any person could respect a Republican, and so I get where you're coming from. But I just want to say that like that just sets us so back if we keep thinking that we can't have conversations and look at both sides to things. And I also want to say that the more convenient thing to do is to just pretend one side is good and one side is bad. That's the easier thing to do. Yeah. So don't do the easy thing. Don't be a sheep. Don't allow the news and media and your friends and family who listen to the news and media and your teachers and your fellow students, whatever, like, don't let them
decide what to think at the end of the day.
To decide to look at things black and white. Don't do that. It's just sheep mentality. And I don't ever want to be that way. So I feel like this is something I needed to hear when I was really looking at things black and white, you know? Yeah.
And a good rule of thumb is if you're starting to feel scared about something, if you're watching the news and you start to feel actually scared in your chest, start to actually, question, like, is this information really adding value to my life? Because not only is it black and white, but a lot of times it's stuff that we have no direct control over. And so while we're stressing about this stuff that we don't have control over,
like the police, for example, like if I stressed every day about the police, something I have no control over but the government has control over, is that what you mean?
Mass shootings.
Yeah.
Anything that you see on the news that's like, you need to be scared, you need to be scared, you need to be scared. All that energy going to being scared about those things, you could be using towards the things you actually do have control over, which is having connection with your family, having connection with your friends, taking care of your mental health, making sure that, you're taking care of yourself physically, but also mentally, taking a break, having compassion for yourself.
Very important.
And that takes a lot of energy.
Yeah. So, and that's all you have control over.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. And that does have a ripple effect because when you are joyful, when you are a whole person, you touch everyone around you. Not in that way, unless you want to.
Oh, okay.
You have an impact on everyone around you.
Yes.
And they have an impact on everyone around them. And in that way, you are making the world a better place by taking care of yourself.
When you take care of yourself, this is the dumbed down version that I probably would need to hear. If you take care of yourself, then you teach others how to take care of themselves, and no one has to take care of each other anymore. Period. Or
you're all taking care of each other by taking care of yourself.
Yes. I don't put it on your shoulders. My mental health, being compassionate to myself, giving myself breaks. I don't put that on your shoulders. You don't put it on mine. So, yeah, we are taking care of each other in that way. Yeah.
Well, that was quite the conversation.
I know. I like this episode a lot.
Me too.
Yeah. There was some tea and
a little bit of barks,
a little bit of TED talk,
a little bit of TED talk, a little bit of sexual innuendos. You know what I mean?
All right.
We're gonna go because we're turning the AC on right now.
It is so hot.
We turned it off so it wouldn't ruin the sound, but we're dying in here. So
I'm fine, but
no, I knew that AC. Right.
I had so much fun doing this right now.
Me too.
I'm so glad we're doing this.
Thank you, everybody who came back to episode 4. Bless you.
Thank you so much, you guys.
And if you find it in your heart, like, if you could, just share it if you can, like, on your story. Or I know a lot of my friends tell me that they're telling their friends by word of mouth, which is awesome. Thank you so much for that. that.
No, seriously, thank you so
That helps
much.
us so much. But if you can,
I appreciate
maybe
it so
post
much.
something on your story, get us some more listeners, and we can spread a little love that way. Thank you so much. Happy
we want to
Pride,
build
still
some.
Pride.
Yeah, happy Pride. We want to
still
build a
Pride.
community. Tell all the girls, gays, theys, all of them. Tell all of them, please.
And
Happy
bring your
Pride
fur
Month.
babies. We got a bachelorette on our hands. How heavy. All right.
Oh, Heather.
You're cute. She just plumped herself onto
She's
the
dead
couch.
because we're not giving her attention.
I think she's hot.
Yeah, I think so too. She was laying on the cold floor.
Yeah.
And she hates the floor.
Let's turn it
Okay.
off.
Thank you
Bye.
guys. Love you. Bye.